Hi, hello and welcome to the Candlelit Sessions, or if you were here last week, welcome back. My name's Catherine O'Driscoll. I will be acting as your compere for the evening. This is the second show out of the 4 that we are doing as part of PBH's Free Fringe. So if you enjoy it, you can catch the previous episodes on our YouTube channel at Candlelit Poets and stick around next week and the week after for 2 more amazing shows with all new poets and all new poems. Or if you miss it, you can find it on our YouTube channel at Candlelit Poets after the YouTube premiere has ended. Before we get started, I'm just going to explain how tonight works. And don't mind me, I'm definitely not looking at my notes. Firstly, before each poet shares their poem, a content warning will appear on the screen. This is to help you keep control over the safety of your own space. If you see a content warning for a poem that you think might be a trigger for you, you can mute it until the end, when another end card will come up. Or you can skip about 3 minutes if you are watching after the live. Secondly, the end cards contain information related to the poem. They can be anything from guides to grounding yourself during a panic attack, helplines, charity information, things like that. These were all selected by me or the poets themselves, and we have no official affiliation with any of them, just so you know. Next, I wanted to let you know that if a link does come up on the screen, such as in those end cards or the social media for the poets so that you can follow them and see more of their work, we will paste them in the chat. So you don't need to pause for link information. We'll make it easy for you to get it, and you can also rewind the show after the premiere has ended if you want to. Speaking of the live premiere, hi! Hi! I'm kidding, there's a delay. But I and some of the poets featured tonight will be hanging out in the chat tonight, so if you want to talk to us. When sharing content in a digital space, comments work the same way that room engagement does. It replaces ums and clicks and applause and cheering, all those things that poets live on. So if you are liking a poem, please let the poet know through that medium of text. Lastly, we are part of PBH's Free Fringe. The PBH Free Fringe is an organisation that helps artists put on shows at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe. That's a bit of a mouthful. Every year. I have been involved multiple times before and just love them. Basically, they give you a venue and the equipment you need to make your show happen, and in return you join a community of artists and help promote each other. You flyer with the Wee Blue book, which has all of the free programs in it, and we will just kind of help each other out, and then the audiences get access to a show for free. So hello, welcome, that's what this is. This year, some shows are in Edinburgh and some are virtual, like this one. You can find more shows, including spoken word, comedy, music, puppetry, anything you can imagine, in the Wee Blue book guide. There is also an app this year, so search for PBH's Free Fringe to get that. As a Free Fringe show, you may have noticed that you can access this show for free. Nice! But we are accepting donations, which will be split between all the performing poets tonight. In case you'd like to show your appreciation in this manner, the information is paypal.me/candlelitpoets or ko-fi.com/candlelit, both of which I'm sure I myself am posting in the chat at this very moment. This is completely optional and no one should feel pressured to donate anything that they can't afford. But if you like the show and that's something you want to do, we more than welcome it. Poets can live on just attention, but we prefer not to. We'll remind you about this at the end. Everybody hates going first, so up first we're going to have Catherine O'Driscoll. If you forgot already, that's me. There's going to be a weird cut now, then I'll do a poem, then it will come back to me. Try not to be weirded out by that whole thing. Tomorrow, it will be 21 years since you died. Tomorrow my grief becomes an adult. Tomorrow grief should turn to dust, to ashes in my mouth, hard to swallow, like being without you. Tomorrow grief, my old family friend who's been holding my hand since I was old enough to understand that sometimes you hold hands that don't hold back. Tomorrow grief should have matured. Tomorrow, at 21 years old, grief should have moved out already. Grief should get a car, a job, ironically a life, but it hasn't. Instead, doctors find me weeping in stairwells and tell me I have complicated grief, that it's chronic, that it's terminal, that missing you will kill me, that the hollow parts of me that snap my veins open under the slightest pressure may always be that way because my body craves one thing and we burnt it in a box. This is complicated grief. This is complicated. This is not making sense. This is not understanding why the whole world isn't still raging that she's gone. This is the word dead, in lowercase with the angles and points of the letters digging into my esophagus so every breath since you've gone has been choked on. This is broken vowels and syllables undigested in my body, releasing toxins periodically to keep the pain fresh. This is complicated. This is abscessed grief. This is grief turned in on itself and decaying everything. This is pain turned gangrenous, like your stomach when it tried to eat away all that was good about us and tried to make you a failure. Tomorrow, grief turns 21. And I expected it to mellow with age, to move on. Because I loved you. But I shouldn't have sat open-mouthed with shock, because when I wrote this poem, it was the first time I said loved in the past tense. I shouldn't still be surprised by how much it hurts to say did. I did have. What do I have now? A once a year anniversary where it's socially acceptable to let people catch me indecently grieving, because once a year is okay. That's normal, that's life. But tears every time I remember that the body replaces all of its cells every 7 years, so no part of my skin has ever even known a part that ever touched you. That isn't normal, that's healthy, because once a year it's okay, that's normal, that's life. But tears every time I remember that the body replaces all its cells every 7 years, so no part of my skin has ever even known a part that ever touched you. That isn't normal, that isn't healthy, that's terminal, that's dying in slow motion because half of my organs are missing and I can't breathe without your lungs moving anymore. This is goodbye without the closure, because even if I only ever read this poem once, we both know you'll find it tattooed on my diaphragm, hidden where no one else can see it and convulsing through every breath. This poem's a symptom, a daily ritual, a compulsion, an obsession. This poem's the same today as it was 21 years ago. This poem's trying to let go. I'm trying to let go. So I'm only going to perform this poem once. It's not like you're here to hear it anyway. Up next is Hannah Burroughs' Ophelia.
When I walk, though I'm never seen walking, my feet are tiled with eggshell. Fragile soles, slow steps sounding of faintly creaking bone. I peck and chip away at what you want a mad girl to be. She who lies peaceful, worn smooth and wordless as a pebble, long hair and pondweed halo drowned, surrounded by her own goodbyes, the current left to memorize her shape. You wanted that beautiful waif, not this vessel of untapped rage with herbs clawed in pale pruned hands that kill this holy body over and over each night when I fall to dreaming. I don't tell you this. And when day breaks itself across me, I put a print of Ophelia on my bedroom wall. Leave cryptic notes when I go on walks debating the merits of coming home, sit alone and begin to learn the secret language of flowers. Return home each night to check the vases for violet and rue. And thank God our house is landlocked.
That poem is so beautifully sedated. It covers so many feelings in a small and nuanced way. Wow. Next we have Melanie Branton's Personal Best.
Personal best. I set myself goals, then moved the goalposts up and up. 9 days without sugar, 4 months without wine, a year without crisps. Halve portions, then quarter them, round down, cut out. Need to walk more. Need to push the time and distance up until 1 becomes 2, becomes 4, becomes 8, until I walk myself away, scuff myself out a pair of high street shoes not worth rehealing. I hammer meals into the ground like fence posts, spaced wide apart, thin and regular. Something I can hang a chain link on to mark out my space. I've gauged it, made pencil marks along the ground, notches to show me where to sink the holes. The holes are in my armpits, at the bases of my thumbs, beneath my collarbone. They are the foundations that stop me from falling over as I weigh myself morning and night. 8 becomes 7, becomes 6. I need to tidy that number up now. I need to round it down to 5. I need to round myself down to 0. They call what I have a disorder. I've never been more ordered in my life. I make to-do lists, dig up the blackberry roots, deep clean the kitchen, fill bin bag after bin bag after bin bag. Closing my mind down, enjoying only the rhythm of my muscles stretching, distracts me from hunger, burns off more calories. Sleep is for lazy, fat people. I get up at 7, then 6, then 5, then 4. Walk 2 hours before breakfast, burn the calories off before eating them. I want to wear a tape measure all the time, like the Ryvita lady. The needle on the bathroom scales is Huey Green's clapometer. I hear wild applause as it unhinges from its base, flagellates itself to the left. Magnetised, I tick myself off the to-do list. I cross myself out.
A candid poem that really delves deep into these issues. Most of my praise for this poem is about how well it conveys the issue that the poem discusses, but because it had such a strong trigger warning, I don't really want to delve into those, so I'm just going to say thank you for sharing it, Melanie. Following that, we're now going over to Jemima Hughes for a slightly longer poem. This poem is called His Name Is.
If you tell me his name, I have to report him. His name is Imagined Scenarios. It's planning her escape route. It's staying light on her feet. His name is Walking Fast. It's blocking her path, it's lingering in back streets. His name is hair tucked in. It's crossing the road, it's taking a fake call. His name is pulling over, asking her for directions instead of the man ahead who's built and 6'2" tall. His name is following her around the store. It's brushing past, it's touching the small of her back. His name is staring at her. It's waiting for her, it's look at the rack on that. His name is 999, already dialed. It's stripping her of independence. His name is keys in between her knuckles. His name is a never-ending presence. His name is avoiding public transport. It's leaving a night out before it's done. His name is dictating her skirt is too short. It's a change of shoes that make it easier to run. His name is hiding in the crowd, behind buildings, bins and cars. His name is pressed up against her. It's using code words at the bar. His name is continuing to ask questions, even though he hears no answer. His name is turning innocent sentences provocative and labelling it as banter. His name is texting when she gets home. It's walking clear of alleyways and ditches. His name is catcalling and dog whistles, but we're not pussies and we're not bitches. His name is pepper spray. It's a rape alarm. It's impacting her mental health. His name is triple checking a taxi number plate. His name is her not leaving her house. If you tell me his name, I have to report him. His name is 10 years on. His name is suffocating me. His name is for the rest of my life. His name is therapy. If you tell me his name, I have to report him. His name is abuser. His name is depression. His name is anxiety. His name is fear. His name is panic. His name is PTSD. His name is nightmares. It's in the dark. It's lodged in my memory. His name is control. It's impossible to console. His name is me never being free. If you tell me his name, I have to report him. His name is rapist. It's judgment. It's a man phoning from victim support. His name is men have torn me down and I'm supposed to let them build me back up. His name is taking me to court. His name is behind closed doors. It's loud noise. It's sudden movements. His name is driving too fast. It's never in the past. His name is yes, but can you prove it? If you tell me his name, I have to report him. His name is knowing if I say it, it's me who's more at risk. It's keeping myself out of danger in turn, doing the same for him. It's being so short of options. It makes me physically sick. If you tell me his name, I have to report him. His name is in safe hands. Her name is never going to feel safe again. Her name is affected, disconnected, neglected and disrespected. His name is going to haunt her. His name is going to take her life. His name is protected.
Such an impactful poem that really explores the power imbalance between the victim and the perpetrator. I would love to give you a minute to catch your breath after these poems, but sadly we have so much more to get through tonight that I think you're going to love just as much. So now let's hear, in this poem, I Am the Atomic Bomb by Nafisa Hamid.
In this poem, I am the atomic bomb. My mother will lay face down on the sofa that is too big for the living room, too big for the house now, too big to hold her close enough. She will remain there for years. My father's nose will become a burst dam of blood, and he might finally sell the shop. My brothers will become mute, wholesome, round sorries for mouths. My youngest brother will stumble and fall into his man's skin for a second time too soon. Because real men watch, they don't walk. My sister. My sister. My sister. My parents say friends come and go, but my friends will haunt the house with their stories of me. Linger in corners crying or trying to make themselves useful, trying to understand. Their bodies clinking like the china in my mother's cupboard, which is only taken out at special occasions. My therapist will lean out of health clinic windows, smoking, and blow bubbles in his office until 5 p.m. He is being mindful in breaking, at least. Before going back to his own family, throwing down his briefcase, throwing down his arms and legs, and whispering, I love you, or gratitude for the lives around him, collapsing on his newly tiled kitchen floor, waiting for the cows to come home. These people will never leave you or hurt you or disappoint in the ways I did. I've been laying in my bed, face down, for hours now. My wires twisted. No one knows how to unplug me, how to defuse this bomb, dismantle my body into something more safe, more living than alive, less likely to explode into the faces of those there, right at the front.
Wow! Wow, that poem just builds and builds and builds. It feels like something is about to explode. It's just a phenomenal poem to have that kind of control over tension. Amazing. Up next is the ever incredible Sven Steers with his poem Broken.
Some days I fail to wake her. Normally after the world tries to break her, she just lays there, stays there, partly aware of my stare, but partly departed to elsewhere, and I have to shake free of my urge to shake her. It's not what she needs, just a symptom of my care as I try to share in her nightmare. No, instead I just stroke her hair. Tried to calm this werewolf engulfed there, but probably managing fuck all. She, as if to stave away the end of days, rolls in her duvet, an apocalypse eclipsed with sheets in the way, then struggles to raise with claws made of clay, pauses to say, ow, and then falls to the hay. Heavy with inability to even breathe, her lungs are flightless, there's no air left in her atrium, it's true, she's broken. Every joint is swollen, she's gone freezing to frozen, she's grieving for freedom stolen, half human, half golem, she gives in. Too weak to be dealing with the week she's only one day into, these days are my Everest. and I am climbing, when I see her turn full bloom against the rocks, and it knocks these words from my chest. I would take every beast in your body, every cell into myself, if it would give me one day in the clouds where I see you peeking. You are a bedbound explosion, bleeding light from your pillow fort, arcing energy from your Faraday mattress. It can't contain you. You are a knight riding in on the day, sword to the sun and slaying the monsters under our heads. This four-post castle is a battleground. You, battle-born, battered a massive rule here. You own this war. It's yours. You ride across my sky, casting aside storm clouds. There is no black in our blue, no pain in our bruise. Rumbles run scared, the thunder sunders. White horses flee your chariot, whipped with pillow fights and feathers flying. These days where I can't wake you, they break me, cast me down, leave me drowning like tar poured from your battlements or a phone lost down the headboard. But you find me, carry me to safety, text me back into myself for the dream brand across my chest that melts into my breastplate and gives me hope, armour. Together, back to back, we make our stand on bed springs, face to face with the siege, and every day we breach them and every day we live. It's why my definition of the word strong begins and ends with a picture of you here, joints swollen, brain fogged, unable to move and cradling me and reading poetry. Because I wasn't strong enough to face the thought of another day. So please, read my dictionary. Face the dawn with me. I know by now that our wounds tessellate. But let's compare our scars.
Gosh, that poem always makes me cry. As someone who is a carer and who's been a secondary carer for longer and who struggles with severe mental health issues, the way that all those responsibilities and the guilt and the good days and the bad days blending together in those situations is so beautifully displayed in Broken. Amazing. Okay, now we're going to move on to Helen Shepherd for her poem Melancholia.
Melancholia. I shadow Liz, who observes Alex with artery cuts and chemical tricks his body concocts. They chat, share smokes, shag behind haematology. Later I hear they've moved away, have kids, are good for each other. It's ECT Tuesday. Archie, a lawyer, worries aliens will poison his meds. He dresses in fine threads, trilby and monocle. We set up chess. He wins, unzips his fly, Joker's grin, jerks off. I'm a little girl again. June was caught out of wedlock and baby taken. Over 60 years, a straitjacket hugs her hollow. I wash daubs of shit off grey walls. She soothes pillow creases tenderly. Her false teeth jiggle as she smiles. Sore heads of mad mothers, soldiers, puzzle solvers, fire starters. I sneak drug trolley sleepers to ease bruises from nursing in this nest of birds. While McMurphy weeps, I crash and burn. It's contagious. Let's talk.
Helen's poem sharing her experiences working on a psychiatric inpatient ward whilst dealing with mental health issues in her own personal life really hits home. It's unapologetic, but I really liked the way that we get to see the effect that different incidences have on the internal parts of her thoughts. I included it today because I wanted to remind people that even if you are in a role of authority or of giving care, that looking after yourself is also vital. We're going to change tone completely now though and go to Georgia Stride for her poem, It's Not My Fault I Murdered You.
This morning, I killed my mum, my best friend, my neighbours, several other friends, that bloke on the bus yesterday, my dog who's already dead, go figure, my former English teacher, a child, because it's bad to kill children, and myself. It's everyone's fault for popping into my head and for knowing me/being around me in public, because if I wasn't aware of your existence, you all wouldn't be dead. It's the light switch's fault for not turning off in a certain way. Mum once told me I'd be electrocuted if I kept going flick, 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 flick. It worked for a while until I got used to the idea of being electrocuted. Besides that, I need to turn off the light switch in a certain way so that I don't die. I'm more likely to kill you if I love you. I don't love that bloke on the bus though, so if I don't know you or strongly dislike you, you might die too. You're all in grave danger. My friend might die today because my foot didn't leave the ground the right way when I got in the car. Social conventions state that it would not be okay to text her asking her if she's still alive, so it's society's fault if she dies. But then if I texted and she didn't reply, it wouldn't be an effective way of checking she's alive, because would you reply to that? Hey lovely, hope you're well. Just wanted to ask, is your heart still beating? Also, are we still on for brunch this Thursday? Kiss kiss. Thinking about death all the time makes me anxious, which leads to stress, which leads to strokes, which leads to death. Not thinking about death means you're chilled, you're happy, and you're obviously having too much of a good time, so you will probably die anyway, you ignorant, cheerful bastard. It's not my fault if you die. It's your fault for knowing me. It's very selfish of you to go around existing. How dare you make me care about you? Why are you being so nice? It makes me want to murder you more, because nice people don't deserve to die, or children. So if you see me tap dancing in and out of the car like an indecisive spider, or flicking the light switches 3 times, 4 times, no, 5 for luck, I'm not trying to murder you. I'm just trying to save your life. Thank you very much.
Such a humorous but specific portrayal of intrusive thoughts. We're going to hone in more on obsessive and compulsive feelings now with Tiana Howard's poem Trichotillomania.
Trichotillomania. It's a type of impulse disorder, an off-branch OCD, where psychosomatic pain covers my scalp until I'm pulling out my hairs one by one. Snapping the singed ends to stop this false fire from spreading, it means that I'm not in control of my own body. My hair has tied string to each finger and calls them an instrument. Plucking the strings and saying what beautiful music this pain makes. Like a hollow guitar, it is the fingers that bleed and not the wire. This tiger balm brain thinks burning is the same as healing. Every gust of air hits my scalp like freshly brushed teeth. Getting kissed on my crown and watching them frown when they realise how much of me is missing. Mum tells me I am not my own enemy, that this is a pointless war, I say. This is the nest I return to each season, a threadbare home where I can raise and hatch my freedom, or at least a net to catch a break. So I try and keep the nest as full as I can, but other birds want the same. When Mum shears our dog, she puts the clumps and the mat on the bird feeder, telling me that birds use loose hair to feel warmth in their nests, and I like that something can find safety in my loss. But sometimes birds get desperate and their claws scrape and their beaks pluck and my hands shake as I try to pull another feather from my head. They haven't had to realise how hard it is to fly with self-clipped wings, entangling themselves in my hair like fish in a net, fighting for the freedom they have never had to ask for. They aren't the only ones struggling to escape when my hair starts to feel like a forest fire, when my hands are the ivy suffocating tree home, slowly smothering any chance of growth. The doctors say I have made a mistake, and that no matter how much castor oil I massage through my scalp, these follicles have been slighted one too many times. The bark of my brain has peeled back and molted. It is hard for a forest to survive in a hostile climate. Caressing my lips with bulbs that will never get to grow. Routinely scraping roots across new terrain, bold skin they can't get attached to. Humans have always sought to ravage forest bodies and profit off sawdust. And it's not autumn yet, but the leaves are falling, tire marks pressed in mud, the hitman leaves only stumps behind. But these trees are sick of skin and have made the decision that this ground is too harsh an environment to try and grow roots. And I am getting used to feeling unrooted and like I am the only one responsible for picking my safety apart.
Just stunning wordcraft, metaphor and imagery in that one from such a young emerging poet. Absolutely blows my mind every time. I love how it all comes together to share this really authentic insight into Tiana's world. Okay, sadly, it is time for our ultimate poem of the night. Ah, say ah. You don't have to say ah, but if you do say ah, you can either do it out loud or in the chat. Either is fine. Or not at all. It's okay, we'll move on. We're going to leave you on a note of beautiful hope. We have T.S. Idiot with Pip People, We Will Be Orchards.
In this unprecedented dent on our collective lives, I've noticed that space is growing for some of us to bloom. Space for we, the chronically anxious, the bent and abandoned, we who never did fit in this world anyway, and now the world doesn't fit in itself. We, whose idea of a good time is taking a toaster into the bath just to see what happens. We, who have been waiting for a kinder world since our hearts were first broken. We, who have been tenderized by the meat mallet of modern living, the furloughed and forgotten, the ones who thought ourselves rotten to the core. We're realizing that all this time we were full of pips, tiny cases of infinite potential sown in some kind of rubble. These seeds rooting in the rituals of our once concrete lives. And I know that we are blooming, that we will be orchards when all of this is over. We will be orchards when all of this is over.
And with that comes to the end of our show. Sad, at least until next week. Thank you for sharing the space with us, and we hope that you enjoyed it. You can follow us on social media. We are at Candlelit Poets everywhere, all one word. You can also follow PBH's Free Fringe on Twitter and Instagram at The Free Fringe, all one word, and on Facebook they are at free.fringe, so you can follow them. And they also have a donation option on their website, which is freefringe.org.uk/donate. And if you want to donate to the poets you've seen here tonight, that information again is paypal.me/candlelit-poets or ko-fi.com/candlelit. I want to say a huge thank you to all the poets who were involved tonight. And all of the poets, of course, who were involved in previous episodes or ones still to come. This is such a beautiful community and I love being part of it. Speaking of community, you can check out www.spokenwordcommunity.com for a forum for UK spoken word artists. That's not related to this show at all, but the camera person is the only person here who could stop me from saying whatever the hell I like. Okay, back on topic. If you have a poem that would have fit into tonight's showcase, then I have good news for you. I am curating a showcase just like this, but a little bit smaller, for the Full House Literary Festival in September. The great news is that I will be inviting some amazing poets to share their work, but we also have an open call, so you can send us your work if you want to be involved too. Follow them at Full House Lit Mag on Twitter for when that all opens up. Final thanks to Kasia Pascoe and Loretta O'Driscoll for helping me film, my dog for panting nervously in the background of many shots, and that is all we have time for today. We will see you next week. Until then, stay safe and remember that you are not alone. Bye.